And welcome back one and all, my name's Eltimar, and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Torment, Tides of Numenera. Where we left off last time, we were looking for a slave, and we got some cool implants. So we're going to go talk to a man named Eritis, I guess. The first thing you notice about this wiry young man is the golden haze, the glow surrounding him. It sparkles in his eyes and gives his easy grin a warmth that you can feel right down to your gut. He spots you and straightens.
I know what you're thinking. How in the world did you survive that crash, Eritis? The answer is, as it always is, backflips. But hold on. How did you know my name? Never mind. Not important. Of course you know my name. I'm Eritis.
He plants his hand and beams, or plants his hands on his skinny hips and beams. How did you end up crashing the airship? I'm glad you asked. This is somewhat of an understatement. He looks ecstatic. I was climbing up the cliffs to Caravanserai to see how impossible it was when I saw a star falling towards the reef. He raises an earnest finger. I knew right then that finding that star was my destiny. He runs his hands through his curls. But what was I going to do? Climb down? Boring. Already did it the other way. Walk? Walk? Worse. Far worse. No fun at all. He grins. Then I saw the airship docked over my head. I raced on up, borrowed the ship, and pointed it right at the reef. His face falls. I don't know what happened next. Despite my expert piloting, the airship steered itself directly at the cliffs. I had no choice. I landed it as fast and hard and safely as possible. Shaking his head, he sighs. Never did find that falling star. At this point, someone else has to have found it, and it's their destiny now. You're in luck. That falling star was me. No. Eritis shouts overjoyed. Yes, really? It was you? He grabs you by both shoulders. This is fate. You were meant to travel with me. You have to. Don't say no. Silvertide raised a tiny amount. Why should I let you join me? He gives you a puzzled look as if you just wondered aloud why air is important. I'm an adventurer, he repeats, brow furrowed. I thought I told you. Adventure happens when I'm around and you get to be part of it. He raises a finger, but you have to keep up wherever we go. He stares at the invisible horizon. We go swiftly, strongly, and most of all, handsomely. He leans in conspiratorially. Until you get handsome. I'll cover for the both of us. I like him. I'm going to bring him along. Of course you do, and I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Well met yourself.
He has terrible stats, though. What is he? He is a 0 experience character who has a great sword, apparently. He is also practiced in armor, has unfailing precision. He is never boring. And he has the direct approach. All other party members gain +5 on smashing, initiative, and melee attacks. Fancy. You know what? We'll keep him around until maybe we replace him later. We'll see.
Forward.
Mother Tomas is next. This woman glares at the air above her head, her fingers fretting with a single bead and long, peculiar chain of them. Her low, angry murmuring resolves into words as you get closer. Foolish boy, shivering at crossroads, mazed by your choices, go on and pick beauty, pick strength, pick pleasure, whatever that be. The particulars don't matter, boy. What matters is choosing, and then you do it. Are you talking to me? She blinks at the empty air, and her hands steal to a metallic, many-faceted bead near the end of the chain. I may as well be, she says, snorting. Mother Tomas knows you, lad. Born falling you were, born in flame. Shreds of your smoldering call streaming through the air. When you struck ground, your bead first went cold, then hotter than mother's hatred. She shakes her head and spits at her feet. Scarcely born you are, and learning quick, but you're still uncertain. All boys and girls are, until they start making choices and dealing with the consequences, until they accept the cost of being adults. How do you know who I am? That's no mystery, lad, she says, flapping her hands at you. Have your bead, don't I? Formed it from a pinch of the call. I hear your thoughts as clear as moonlight in a cup. She sighs. You're confused, but that'll change. You'll have your feet under you soon enough. Not all of my children are as lucky.
Updated my journal.
This one, she says, showing you the bead she was speaking to before you arrived, is carved in the shape of a malformed ring. Pico wants to escape his past. He saved a handful of shins by honest means. That is to say, it's taken him a long time, and he's too busy pissing over the options to spend it. Her fingers fold over the bead. Push him into choosing a path, lad. Do that, and I'll return your call to you, improved through my art and stronger than when you lost it. Where can I find him? He's... Mother Tomas trails off, closing her hand around her beads, staring into space in Cliff's Edge. How should I help, Pico? You haven't been listening, lad. Don't help him. Convince him to help himself. Mother Tomas shakes her head, agonizing over a choice's foolishness. Every choice will bite you, lad. Life is building a collection of mistakes all on your own. Where can I find him again? Cliff's Edge, nearby, I'd say. I will do what I can to help him. Farewell.
Let's do it.
Medelia Glittering looks like a new person to talk to. There's also Hawker, which is a title and not a name. But maybe they hawk things.
Of course.
Let's talk to Medelia Glittering, I guess. A forlorn woman stands by the edges of the cliff, only a few broken stones marking the remnants of a home that must have recently collapsed into the ocean. 3 tiny rodents, each on its own strong glass ball, waver around her head in an indecipherable pattern. On her left shoulder sits a cat with synth steel legs, who bats lazily at the orbs whenever one ventures close enough. After a few moments, she notices you, as if coming back to herself. Oh, hello. She rummages in a pocket of her dress and produces a bundled cloth that she unrolls at her feet. A few trinkets gleam dully against the material. Is there anything I can do for help? Her eyes burn with unsettling zeal. If you came across something called a Staika, kill it. They took my home from me. She bares her teeth in a motion that isn't a smile. Kill every last one of them. And maybe I'll be able to sleep again without screaming myself awake. How much for a rodent globe? One of the... She unconsciously raises a hand to where the rodents in their tiny spheres revolve around her head. One by one they touch her hand and the globes disappear, leaving all 3 of the rodents sitting in her palm. The cat on her shoulder yawns and settles in for a nap. Bye boo bow. Hello again, she whispers, touching each of them with a gentle fingertip. They squeak in appreciation at her attention, rubbing their cheeks against her finger as she looks up to you. They're not... Her voice breaks. She tries again but can't maintain eye contact. They're not for sale. She raises her hand and, through a mechanism you don't spot, each rodent re-enters its strong glass ball and resumes its wavering orbit. Have you seen an escaped slave girl nearby? Escaped? She looks up at you, through you. Tears roll unheeded down her cheeks. I don't know, I don't remember. Tell me about her again. Escaped? I don't know, she can't remember. Have you seen an albino woman around here? She doesn't know that either. Let's see what she has for sale. What is a Skullark's archive? Gives us training in lore machinery and lore natural skill, and gives us +2 damage on esoteric attacks and +1 damage per effort applied. Stealth skill, heals. Those are just ciphers. Okay. Well, I'm gonna save and try something possibly mean, and if it doesn't work, then we'll... The money from selling one of your rodents could really help you out right now. They're not... She leans forward and buries her face in her hands, sobbing silently. Eventually, she wipes her eyes and sits up, raising a hand without looking at you. 3 rodents crowd into her palm again, squeaking anxiously. She holds them close to her mouth and whispers words you can't hear. The rodents form a tiny circle, noses touching and twitching. After a few moments, she transfers one rodent in her hand and returns the others to their strong glass globes. Bao has agreed to go with you. I can sell her to you for 200 shins, non-negotiable. She still won't meet your gaze and concentrates instead on patting Bao with a single fingertip. Why not one of the others? She just shakes her head, mute and miserable. How much for all 3? No. Her eyes betray surprise and horror as her voice sinks to a whisper. No, please, only Bao is for sale. Changed my mind. She glances up at you in surprise, attempting to smother her relief as she quickly returns Bao to her strong glass home. Thank you, she says a little breathlessly. I don't think I have enough money for it. We spent our money on implants. Otherwise, we would totally buy a rodent.
Why not?
To be determined. This facade is all that remains of a house. The rest is collapsed into the sea, hundreds of meters below.
Ready.
That's not good. A months-old layer of dust cakes this sign, which reads, Score otherwise, Sculler of the Iron Wind.
Why not?
What is this? Something to find, perhaps? 20 shins randomly. Oh, what's this as well?
Yes.
Well, 22 shins. And what's in this thing? This pile of detritus.
All
Nothing.
right.
It's just a bunch of building stuff. Alright, Zeb, Nim, and Avina. A boy in rag holds out his hands as you pass. He is far too gaunt for his age. His knuckles stand out on his fingers like knots on a twig. Any shins for a family in need? Let me ask you something instead. That's hardly polite, sir, asking for services rendered without even offering a tip. Fine, $5. Thank you, sir. Good fortune to you. Is this your house? Doesn't look safe. We know. That's why we stay outside most of the time. Ever since Avina noticed some cracks around the walls, we only go in there to change clothes and stuff. Tell me about your family. He ducks his head. Yes, sir, there's 4 of us, counting my father, but he's gone to the Bloom, and we don't know when he'll be back. I'm Zeb, and he points at the little girl kicking a rock in a circle, and an older girl who's playing a flute. You notice that they look considerably more well-fed than Zeb. That's Nim, my little sister. The girl with the flute is Avina. She's actually not our sister, but she's still family, and there's no one else, that's it. His eyes glance further down the street, then snap back to you. He smiles nervously. Are you sure there's only 4 of you? I saw you looking down the street. Is there somebody else? Huh? He chokes. No, I'm just waiting on a friend. There's only 4 of us, no more, no less. Tell me about your father. What's his name? How long has he been in the bloom? His name is Zeb too. Zebek Uralau? And it's been a year at least. He went to work for the Memovira. For a while he sent shins back, but then they stopped. Haven't heard from him since. The bloom's like that though. Sometimes it doesn't let anything out. I figure he's just waiting till it opens up again. Tell me about your father again. Same story. What do you know about the bloom? My dad always called it a schist hole, but he said it was a schist hole full of shins, so he was gonna pull up his boots and wade in. He shrugs. I don't know much about it. They say it's a monster and people live inside of it. You can see it from the caravanserai, but they don't let anyone down there. Well, they didn't let me down there anyway. What do you know about it again? Nothing worth telling? Okay, what do you know about the Memovira? She's the boss in the bloom, the mayor or something. My dad works for her. He's one of her guards. Is Nim okay? This life must be hard on her. She's okay. Doesn't know anything else really. She misses our dad though. His eyes cloud. She never really knew our mom, so at least she doesn't miss her. Tell me again. She doesn't understand. Okay. Tell me about Evina. She's been with us since before dad left, but she's never said where she came from. Maybe she doesn't know. He looks across at Evina. I'm glad she's here. She notices things. Better lookout than I am, and she catches a lot of shins with that flute of hers too. I have other questions for you. Does anyone else live back there? There used to be a lady who lived next door, a nano-sorceress, but she disappeared a while back, and there was a family 2 hours down. We heard them screaming on the night their house fell into the sea. He shudders and looks away. My sister Nim was friends with their little girl. Tell me anything else about the area? Hardly anybody comes through here anymore. It's nice and quiet, I guess, better than the rest of Cliff's Edge. He looked down the street to where? The Stychus is there. Hello, Stychus.
I'll remember that.
Partially hidden in the trash of the dump is a strange, frightened creature. It is covered in chitin like an insect, but its shell looks thin and soft, and its small, malformed claws seem half-grown. It stares at you from its hiding place and chitters incomprehensibly. Are you the rogue Stychus that everyone's looking for? As you speak, you gesture in the direction of the square where you met Lord Vuntigan, and the Stychus seems to understand. It shrinks back, raising its deformed claws as if to defend itself. It doesn't seem like it'd be much of a threat to anybody. It puffs a minuscule amount of vapor from the spiracles on its head. What are you? The creature makes vague motions with its claws and emits a series of clicks and wet guttural noises. Oddly, you smell dust and lightning. Some of the sounds are reminiscent of a human with digestive trouble, but you're fairly certain it's some form of language. How'd you get here? It weaves its head and clicks its claws, then pauses as if waiting for a response. The odor of ozone and stale air surrounds you. When you make no reply, in its language it shakes its head vigorously and says nothing more. Where are you from? A series of gurgling grunts emerges from deep inside of its belly, punctuated by a concussive grunt followed by the scent of sparks struck from rocks and metal. It isn't clear whether the Stychus understood you or not. I'm going to try and remember the language of the Stychus, because this is becoming an irritating thing. 90% worked out well. A murky memory comes to you, a small box resting between you and a patient Stychus, your muscles jerking and twitching as the device translates your words and thoughts. Your muscles twitch in symphony with these memories, and you realize the Stychus tongue is a jumble of scent, movement, and sounds. With the memory information pours into your mind, as if a plug has been removed. The smell of granite fills your nose. As the vision fades, you realize the creature's language is yours. What are you doing here? It clicks and scents resolve themselves into words in your heads. Tunnel live, below, but bad claw, not dig, not eat, no home, Stychus family. And the scent it uses is one of desolation and abandonment, a great void within the earth. Sent above ground to die. Tell me again why you're up here? Dead Stychus. Still live, but dead. No more family, no more eat. You were sent up here by the other Stychus? Why?
Making a note.
It holds up a malformed claw. Not good. It presses its shell, which bends like a feather. Soft like grub, not strong, not dig, no eat, no worth. Trash rebel, not even Nell Tunnel. Stychus dig for food? What do you eat? It makes a digging motion, dragging its claws through the ground, then with his other, fans his stubby talons like someone miming a bright flash. Dig, make sparks. Eat sparks. Not dig, not make spark, not eat. Hunger. If you can't make sparks to eat, why haven't you starved to death up here? It points down the alley. Baby brown grub feed. It shows you a heap of small electrical devices, all drained of energy. Spark shells, spark tubes, it points to itself, and smells of flint and steel. Eat! Its scent is gratitude. Is the burrowing of the Stychus responsible for the making the houses collapse here? It nods and chitters. Stycha no care grub homes break. No dig, Stycha die. It taps its chest. No dig, no claws, no grub home break. Are you the Stychus everyone is looking for? It waves its deformed claws in affirmation. The scent of mud, sadness wafts from it. What are you doing in this garbage dump? Yellow shell grub steel. Leave here. Leave here. It emits a fierce scent of rotten air and underwater floods. Not speak. Dangerous. A man with a yellow shell left you at Cliff's Edge? Do you mean a man with yellow skin? Its odor becomes strong. Hard rock mixed with veins of ancient metals. Intense affirmation. Farewell. We're not going to attack the Stychus. That stupid idiot is responsible.
Making a note.
The scrawny boy reaches out to you as you pass. Sir, please. I know you saw the Stychus hiding in the midden. Please don't tell anyone about him, sir. He's not doing anyone any harm. You saw his hands. They're like human hands. He can't dig like the others. It's not him that's bringing down the houses. I won't tell anybody. Your secret's safe with me. Thank you, sir. You're a lifesaver, sir. Now, if only we could get him to safety. Maybe I can find a way to get him out of here. Could you, sir? That would be wonderful. If you can find the other Stycha, maybe they'd help him escape. I heard that some of them are down in the underbelly, but I've never seen them myself. I'll try. Thank you. I had a feeling I could trust you. Hey, there's a thing down here.
If you want a job done right.
How do I get down there? There's a thing I can explore. There's gotta be a way down there. I just don't know how yet. We'll work on that. We need to find this stupid girl. We haven't found her yet. Intoxicated woman. There's more streets, I guess. There's a beggar. Hawkers aren't named. Whoa. That dude has martial art armor. He has a gi. This large, well-muscled man is practicing some form of martial arts as you look on. He's wearing an old, white, rough-woven coat with the sleeves torn off, and red bandana is wrapped tightly around his head. He seems to be moving much faster than his size suggests is possible. He glides between stances as swiftly as water. His fists are like blurring hammers, striking at invisible enemies. His bare, callous feet snap and slash the air like knives. Have you seen a 10-year-old girl with dark curly hair? Yes, he says, bowing his head. I've seen her, crawling out of the fissure in one of the collapsed houses in this district. She is likely hiding, but I did not pry into her affairs. Where did you learn? I'm looking for mercenaries to help me fight a creature in the reef. Without a pause, in his shifting from stance to stance, Aiden shakes his head. I'm hoping to meet a worthy opponent here. I won't leave until I'm defeated, or they are. His eye slips over you, assessing, hopeful. Are you sure I can't convince you to join me in fighting the creature in the reef? Not until I defeat a worthy opponent in Cliff's Edge, or they defeat me. Where'd you learn to fight like that? By challenging the deadliest creatures and studying their killing blows, he says. I lack claws or teeth, but I do the best I can. You're very fast. Yes, Aiden says. The Drebly's gift. His hands slip around the invisible assailant's arm. He snaps it with a stab of his elbow, then crushes his enemy's throat and flips him over his shoulder to the ground. Chrysanthemum array, he shouts, spinning over the invisible adversary's corpse to deliver a triangle of jabs to the chest of his next attacker. The entire set of moves took no longer than 4 seconds. He catches you staring and smiles. You must be wondering why I'm shouting. Yeah, a little bit. I'm not surprised. I must look like a lunatic, he says before spearing his opponent's jugular with 3 fingers. Canted thrust. It helps me focus on my breathing, my strength and will. It reminds me how weak I once was, and how strong I've become. Years ago I was a starving beggar. I managed to steal a wedge of pie crust and was terrified that someone else would take it from me, so I hid inside that metal structure over there to enjoy my feast. Bite of the hidden queb, he says, clawing his enemy's eyes. The stale crust crumbles into pieces before my eager fingers, and something strange happened. They drifted towards the ground like the softest of snowflakes. I was able to pluck each one of them from the air before they fell. At first I was delighted, then I wept. How far I had fallen, that clean food was a miracle. He sighs, then delivers 4 more blows to the air's belly, but the miracle never ended. The longer I lived in that shelter, the more I could slow the world by concentrating. I swore to never waste this gift. I would honor it by becoming stronger, faster. I would challenge the predators of the world and take their killing blows from them. I would never be prey again. Grush stomp. I bet I'm faster than you. You're not the first to think so, he says casually, snapping an assailant's neck. I should warn you that all the others are dead. That is not a threat. I only fight to the death. He flings the invisible corpse aside. Before I accept your challenge, I'll need to see if you're good enough to face me. His fist lashes towards you. Drookless kiss. I'm going to block the punch and strike back. I don't want to take a hit from him. He might actually kill me. You bat his fist aside and aim yours at his nose. He lowers his head, dashing your knuckles off his forehead. I underestimated you, he says, odd light in his eyes. That won't happen again. Tell me when you're ready for the next round. I am ready for the next part of your test. So am I, he says, nodding gravely. But prepare yourself. I will not hold back this time. Dabiri's assault. A two-handed blow at my face. I'm going to parry it. He won't see it coming. 90%. We made it. Oops. You lunge into the attack, driving your arms up between his fists and pushing them apart. One hand whips around the back of his neck and pulls him into the range of your forehead. Crack! He stumbles back, smiling. You're ready. Well, have I passed your tests? You have, but I'll remind you one more time. This will be a fight to the death. He draws 1 foot back, settling his weight on it. His hands come up and draw apart, tightening into fists. Are you certain you wish to do this? Later. Later's good. Good, he says, nodding. Think it over. I would have you commit to the fight with your whole heart. How are you so... why do you insist on fighting to the death? I fight to learn my opponent's most powerful techniques, he says calmly. How can I be certain they'll use them unless death is on the line? Would you learn to fight like that again? How are you so fast? And the dark curly hair. Okay, bye. So she's in a collapsed house. Let's go find her. There's a whole bunch of collapsed houses. There's at least 1, 2 collapsed houses. Though I didn't see her at any of these.
I'm going.
Can't go into their house, can I? No.
Sure.
That looks like there's an area, a zone transition spot there. That looks like some sludge. Strange fluids rush from these pipes, hinting at vast machinery and pipage within the cliffs themselves. We have to find this house. Oh wait, here, there's the thing. This might be the thing here. And there's Pico. Hey, we can do 2 quests at once. We have lots of talking skill. Our quickness is a little bit low, but we have crew members for that.
Of course.
No, that's not it either. Alright then. Pico. Hi, you. The mutant boy gazes at the entrance of the surgical parlor, flinching at each scratch of the razor metal on metal from within. By your summation, he is in his late teens, but the size of a young, malnourished child. His arms are little more than bone wrapped in red speckled skin, and a raw line zigzags down between his mismatched eyes and over the blade of his nose, as if pointing directly at his thin lips. He sees you looking, and bird-like muscles flex in his frail jaw. Get a good look, he says, lifting his chin, or maybe you want to call me some names. I hear eggshell a lot, or maybe lightning bolt. I get that one from time to time. He crosses his bony arms and glares at you. Don't let me stop you. Call me some names. Laugh, do it now. Because in another moment, few moments, I'll be the one laughing. You threatening me? What? Pico says, gaping, then waves his twig-like arms like he's trying to take flight. Look at me. I'd have to be an idiot to threaten you. That's not what I meant. I'm not going to be the butt of anyone's jokes anymore, he says. Electricity sizzles within the nearby parlor. This time, he does not flinch away. Lightning flickers, trapped in his determined eyes. I have some money, alright? I'm going to use it to change myself. Change everything I can. He trails off, studying you in turn. His eyes widen. He glances quickly away, studying the nearby parlor instead. Mother Tomas sent me. I want to help. Oh, he says, blushing. She knows. Of course she knows. And that means you know too. He shoots his lip. Fine, I'm scared, alright? I've had this ugly face, this body my entire life. I saved up to change myself, my future. Maybe I can become strong enough to deal with the people who hurt me. Or maybe if I fix my face, I can do that, but then I'll still be small. Despite the anger in his voice, tears are shining at the corners of his eyes. I can only use the machines in the parlor once, understand? It's too expensive. I spent years saving up all this money, and it's not enough to fix me. He opens his pouch to display a moderately impressive collection of coins. At all this money, Tiber glances over just in time to see the pouch open. His eyes bulge. Poor lad, he whispers. All that coin must be weighing him down, and we should lighten his load. Use the parlor to become so strong that no one will ever bully you again.
I'll remember that.
He blinks, startled by the authority in your voice. Then a small smile spreads across his face, so tentatively that it seems to be testing his face to make sure it would hold the weight. That's it, isn't it? He says. I can scare off the people who tease me or throw rocks. I can take different kinds of work, earn money faster, and come back here again. That's it, he says, nodding. Thank you. We got some red tide from that, but at least the kid made a decision. Whoa, he's like 8 feet tall now. This feels even better than I dreamed. Maybe we didn't make the right choice. But it's too late now. The choice has been made. Let's go talk to Mother Tomas and see if she'll give us our whatever information. If anything, her angry muttering has intensified. She drags the chain of beads between her knuckles, staring into space. What now, my lad? She says, I need to talk to you about Pyko. Aye, what of him? I solved this problem. Have you? Mother Tomas's eyes on focus and her fingers trace the borders of the hollow bead. Mayhap you did, she says at last. A strong lad can solve most of the problems that come his way, until his strength fails him, that is. She shakes her head. I know you did what you thought was right, but we know that life is more than one choice, don't we? And now he'll make the next one on his own, mayhap. She reaches about in a saddlebag, hanging at her hip. Take the call, lad, you've earned it.
I think I'm ready to try something new.
Off with you, you've done enough here. Somebody gained a level, and it's Tiber. Alright, we're going to increase his stat pools, and we're going to give him more... What's he good at? What's his... hang on. He has speed. He's good at speed. Oh, we get 2. Speed and... Maybe we should give him a little bit of might.
I've learned a thing or two.
And he gets an ability called Issue Challenge. And we can choose an ability. Resourceful gives +1 training in Cipher, or +10 evasion and 10 willpower. Resourceful it is. Alright. So, I think that's going to be the end of our video. In the next video, what is that? That weird triangle thing. We'll figure that out in the next video. For now, we're going to call it here. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Others, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.